Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 22nd. This week, we're going to jump right in here. You have this record card and this heal card. Yeah, everybody's had some sort of healing card in their readings. We have this eclipse on the 21st, on Sunday, before the week starts in Virgo. And it is just a really good eclipse for healing or doing something to heal. You know, that's it. So I would take time to do something to heal. And this could include like overcoming a blockage or, working on any blockages that you have. So it doesn't have to be like a literal healing. It could be more like, overcoming a money block or a love block or something like that. And, that could be very beneficial for you here, Gemini, and, something to pay attention to. And, it's a great time to change your story anyway. So, any part of your story that you want to change, I would, plain and simple. In your first row, we're going to mix up the rows a little bit this week, but in your first row for your current general energies, you have the Ten of Swords, the Hermit, and the Five of Cups. I would say that, eclipses can, this doesn't really surprise me. It's like eclipses, usually we eclipse something out of our lives. The Ten of Swords says something in your life is dead, done, over with. And, the beautiful thing about the Ten of Swords is he's making this symbol right here with his hands that represents a blessing. So the Ten of Swords can represent a blessing in disguise. And if you're letting go of anything, or if you're feeling like you don't want to do something anymore in your life, then I would just eliminate it, whatever it is, because it'll probably be a good thing for you. And again, this is what we do during eclipses anyway. We let go of one thing so we can have something better, or we cut things out that no longer serve us. And like I said, it's perfectly normal. Next, you have the Hermit. The Hermit is about having been through a dark night of the soul, and now he's kind of like coming out the other side. He's shining his inner light. You end with the Star and the Empress, which is amazing. You're like halfway to a glow up. For me to say a reading is a glow up reading, I also would need the Sun. To me, the three cards together in a reading really kind of represents having a glow up. But what I would say is that this could be encouraging you to create a glow up or to do something that causes a glow up in your life, Gemini. And, that's pretty much what I would do with the Hermit. The Hermit has a lot of knowledge and wisdom, but he's standing at the top of this mountain here, and I feel, this isn't necessarily accurate tarot, although I think it is. He needs to come down from the mountain and shine his inner light. Like, he really can't make an impact standing at the top of the mountain, right? He has to get into the world so that he can make an impact with what he has learned, and so that he can benefit the world as well. And I feel the Hermit is encouraging you to do that. It's like saying you've been through a hard time, or you've been experiencing some difficulties that you've overcome, and now it's time to like share that, because that's probably what will make you stand out or could help you create some sort of glow up in your life. It looks to me like this is like a financial glow up. You have the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is an opportunity, right? And so you could be doing things to change your finances for the better. You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups can be regrets and sadness. I think a lot of people are feeling this right now. He's grieving his loss for his taste for wine right here, And so he's sad that he no longer enjoys wine. And, there's something new behind him. The trick with this card is gratitude. He needs to be grateful for these two cups. Then he gets this bridge and this castle over here. And he needs to let go of the old way of doing things, right? He needs to embrace the new way of doing things in his life. And like I said, it's like, I think sometimes we do things that we think we enjoy, but really we don't. And we just keep doing them because we always have. And that's how we get stuck in a rut. And so I do feel this first row is encouraging. It's almost like that's what it's saying, is that maybe you've been stuck in a little bit of a rut. Even if it, again, a rut doesn't even have to be bad. It can say that maybe you've been stuck making the same amount of money for 10 years, which might not be bad. Like maybe you're fine. But at the same time, it's like you're kind of plateaued, right? There's like, you should be growing, or, there might be opportunity for you to grow just in general. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Eight of Wands. Really, the Ten of Swords is probably something that's been slowing you down in the first place, right? So I feel for a lot of you that whatever you're cutting out might be something that has slowed you down or prevented forward movement, and I would be careful of that. The thing with the Eight of Wands is I always call this my card of like creating a slip and slide in your life. You have to look at life like a slip and slide. But a slip and slide where there are moments where you encounter friction, where you slow down. And so the Eight of Wands wants us to create a life that's as smooth as possible. And it doesn't necessarily mean we have to be perfect, and nothing is perfect. We will always have to do things we don't want to do. That's just how life works sometimes, right? Sometimes we just have certain obligations. But the Eight of Wands says, how can you make those things you don't want to do as smooth as possible, right? Can you do it in a different way? Is there an improvement? Can you get someone else to help you do things you don't want to do? The list goes on and on there, right? But I would be thinking, like, what do I need to improve right now if I were you, Gemini, especially with that Ten of Swords? And I would be looking for, like, ways to smooth things out. I would look at your stress points as well. It's like, here are the words that are popping into my head. What do you rely on that is causing stress, right? It's like, like I think about YouTube all the time. I teach a lot of YouTubers, and I see so many that like rely on YouTube to pay them money. And I'm like, bad idea. You should have something else, because you can't really rely on this. And the funny thing is like all those people are stressed, right? Because they're relying on like one thing that could be taken away. So, again, it's like, that's the feeling I get for you here. It's like, is there something in your life that you're relying on that causes stress? And could you diversify? Could you do something to, strengthen that thing? What do you need to do? I don't know, but I would think about it. With the Hermit, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, again, I've been talking about this for weeks now, months probably. Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Saturn's retrograde in Pisces. Neptune will be retrograding. It is retrograde, but it will retrograde into Pisces next month. But what I would say is with Saturn and Neptune in Aries, they've already entered into Aries. We have to be loud. It will get loud during Saturn and Aries, especially. Basically for the next 3-ish years, it's going to be loud. And the people who are loud are going to stand out. Now, there's a big difference. You can be loud and be a jerk, or you can, do things to get attention and speak up, and you can do it in a good way. And of course, I would be doing this in a good way, not, a jerky way. I'm sure we'll see plenty of people, making an ass out of themselves. Like, we've already seen it on social media and things like that, people being too loud and things like that. But, again, if you do it the right way, then you'll stand out. And I feel this reading is saying it's time for you to get loud, Gemini. With the Five of Cups, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I felt some sort of, like, there is a positive financial opportunity coming in for you with that Ace of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is about getting started. I always look at the Queen of Pentacles as she does what she can with what she's got right now. The challenge with the Queen of Pentacles is that sometimes we can think that we need a resource or that we need money to start something. And there might be some truth to that, but at the same time with the Queen of Pentacles, we have to start as small as possible. And if we do that, we will, that's where the success comes from. So she just does what she can with what she's got, and then she kind of goes from there. And so that's what I would do with that card. Next, we're going to look at messages from your future self. You have this accept responsibility card and this protection card. And so I feel like you are protected at this time. It's funny that those two on the accept responsibility card look like twins, right? Like Gemini, even though it's not really a Gemini card. But, I feel that I do feel like you're accepting responsibility. You have the Queen of Swords. So I do like to see that. You have the Page of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Four of Cups. Page of Swords is looking over to the Ten of Swords and the Eight of Wands. I've said to everybody, we have Pluto retrograde for a little while longer until next month, the middle of, October, basically. Pluto retrograde is very good for being a detective, for getting to the bottom of any issues that you're having, or getting to the bottom of things that have to do with your power, how you stand out with the Hermit and the Star and the Empress, right? So, I feel it would be a good time for you to think about those themes in your life, even how you use your power. Like, how do you use your energy? How do you stand out? How do you get attention on things that you want to get attention on? And I would get to the bottom of those things with this Page of Swords and also Pluto retrograde. Again, if we work with the energy, we get the benefits. So that's what I would be doing there. You have the Queen of Swords. I feel like this could be you just showing up in the reading. So whenever you show up as yourself, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading, which is great. You could be getting a lot of attention as well. So like I said, I like this. She has her sword up and her hand out. It's like she's kind of like cautiously optimistic. She's willing to receive, but if something isn't right, she's going to chop it out of her life, right? And you have the Ace of Pentacles here, sorry. I almost said Ace of Swords. Too many swords coming up here. But I feel like there is an opportunity that you could be a little bit cautiously optimistic about. I would encourage you to be a little bit more brave with the opportunity, especially with the King of Wands here. It's like, I wouldn't play it too safe with that Queen of Swords. Let's say you're getting a new idea for something that you want to do in your life. I feel it's saying, don't be afraid to go after it in a bigger way. You have the Four of Cups. Four Cups can be past disappointments. He has manifested these 3 cups in front of him and this 4th cup. The story of the card is that he has been disappointed with what he's received like 3 times before, but now he's being asked to try again. This is kind of a common energy right now with the eclipses. There's something about these eclipses about the past, but I'm not saying like the past is coming back. That's not what I'm getting at. But I feel a lot of us could be revisiting some themes from the past, but it's almost like the eclipses are trying to get us to heal something or create an improvement for our future based off of like a past fear. It's interesting that we have the North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. We had the first eclipse in Pisces. We have the second eclipse in Virgo. And, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. There's something about it that I feel could be making us think about past opportunities that we missed out on. And it's almost like we could be getting a chance to do them again. The other thing is I would think back to 2012 in your life, and like, what were you working on during that time, and what were you doing, and what were the themes in your life? It's almost like you're getting a chance to heal something from the past through creating a success in the future. Like, I know that's a mouthful, but let's say you had money issues in the past and you tried to start a business to fix it and it didn't work. It's like now you're getting another chance to do it again, but do it to apply what you learned. That's the trick with the Four of Cups, is that we should apply the lessons that we learned from the past to the new situation, and that's the thing that will kind of like change our luck. And I feel that's like the theme that I'm getting here in this row. With the Page of Swords, you have the Four of Wands. Like, yeah, sure, it could be marriage. Sure, there's, there could be a little bit of love here, but I feel this is about you committing to something. The Four of Wands is a card of completion. There's like this finish line right here, and we have to cross through the middle of the card to have a celebration on the other side. So clearly with the Ten of Swords and this, it's like you're being asked to complete something that you've been working on, and you're being asked to kind of like move to the next stage of your life, which is more the feeling I get here. 1111, it is 1111 here on this card, and it is popping into my head. I almost never say that with the Four of Wands, but 1111 could be like a confirmation number for you. And, that might be a number you see a lot right now. And, that's definitely something I would also pay attention to. Whenever I see repeating numbers on the clock, for example, I just think about what I was thinking about, because I feel it's just like confirmation. It's like the universe is saying, yes, follow that thought, right? And that's what I would do with the Four of Wands. Let's see. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, putting in the work, right? Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. He is just focused on one thing, and he is almost done. He's almost complete. He only has one more pentacle to complete, and he is done. So again, I feel a lot of you are probably almost at a finish line on something that you've been working on. I also feel it's saying, like, if you, we have the Eight of Wands. All those wands are pointing in one direction. So the Eight of Wands, we have to make sure that we are focused in one direction. Queen of Swords is focused on the Ace of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles would be putting in the work into the Ace of Pentacles. The other interesting thing here is that Ace of Pentacles and Empress are both a very nurturing energy. Ace of Pentacles, we have this garden at the front. So if we get an opportunity with the Ace of Pentacles, we have to nurture it. We really have to take care of it to get it to grow. Empress, she nurtures the things that she cares about. So, again, anything you can do to nurture the things you care about into existence would be a good idea. With the Four of Cups, you have the Star, which is amazing. You have the Star twice in this reading, which is very positive. The Star can represent like hope, faith, and renewal. The Empress can also kind of represent hope, faith, and renewal in some ways. And so I feel that there could be a lot of hope coming in for you, or something's giving you hope this week, which is great. The Star can be an inspiration, and I would, pay attention, like I said, to any inspiring opportunities that come in for you this week, Gemini. That's what I would work on. Next, we're going to look at what you don't see coming. You have this new moon in Gemini. It says communication is key. You have this full moon eclipse. It says conclusions are within reach. So, yes, I feel like how you talk or to yourself is the important thing here, or like how you communicate with the world is going to be important. Definitely some sort of conclusion this week. Almost every single sign has had some sort of conclusion this week, which makes sense with the eclipse. Even though it's happening on Sunday before the week starts, really, it doesn't matter. Eclipse energy can last for like 6 months. So a lot of us could be, making those changes. You have the Four of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords. Four of Swords is like resting, relaxing, recovering, and healing. But he's hoping and praying for a blessing. There's a person right here who's blessing this other person in this stained glass window. With the star twice, the star can be kind of a wish card where we are making a wish, or we're wishing for that something could happen. She's sending these ripples off into the pool of universal consciousness on this card. So she is like asking the universe for something. He is also asking, and praying for something. So if you've been hoping or praying for something, I feel like it's here. It could be this opportunity here, Gemini. So, I think I said this in your last reading. I do get a little bit of a breakthrough energy here. I'm not saying this is like some sort of major breakthrough, but if you have been unsure about what to do, I literally feel the Ace of Pentacles is like the universe is saying this is what to do next. This is the next thing that you should be working on in life. So, like I said, there could be some sort of opportunity coming in. I feel like this opportunity will be coming through an inspiration with the star twice. The star sometimes can be a little bit subtle. We can just have an idea and we can look at the clock and it says 11:11, right? So if that happens for you, then I would say that is a big yes from the universe. I almost feel this reading is a little bit of a big yes, or kind of like a green light from the universe on something that you're thinking about. It could be more mental. Again, your ideas are going to be on fire for until 2033 with Uranus in your sign. Like, yeah, sure, Uranus is going to retrograde out of your sign in November, back into Taurus, but doesn't really matter. It's only a short period of time that it's retrograding into Taurus, and again, it'll be back in your sign before you know it. So I would be paying attention to those inspirations, those ideas. You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but Seven of Swords, he's really stealing these swords from an army in the background of the card. So it's a card of sneaking away. He's sneaking away from this army in the background. He's basically going to war, but in a different way. Again, this is your superpower, Gemini. I say this to you all the time now, that you should be paying attention to like the other way of doing things, and also mixing things together. That is going to be your secret sauce for like how to stand out, how to be successful in life. Is mixing things together. Your unique perspective on things is also going to be what leads to success. So that's what I would do there. Let's see what else wants to come up here. With the Four of Swords, you have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, Ace of Wands is out with the old and with the new, so definitely practicing new ideas. I forgot to say, feel free to like and leave a comment on this video. Really helps me out. I keep forgetting to ask nowadays. I have to ask, but thank you for all the people that do. The Ace of Wands is about following your inspirations, just like we said on the 2 star cards. So there seems to me like there is a new exciting idea that's coming in that could be pulling you away from an old idea or something that's been keeping you stuck for too long. It doesn't even have to be a bad thing. Like I said, it could just be that you've been, like I said, making the same amount of money for 10 years. It's like you're stuck at a plateau and the universe wants you to grow, right? So, I feel this is growth. The Ace of Wands is growth. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, amazing time for experimentation. We're in a good time for throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So trying different ways of, working, creating, of living, all that other stuff would be a really good idea for you, putting up boundaries as well. I would also say, like, protect any ideas you have with the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is the seed. It is like planting the seed. The Ace of Wands is the root going down into the soil. It is that initial spark of life. So, really with the Nine of Wands here, this would say that if you're working on anything new, that you should keep it to yourself until it's growing, until it like really is established, then you can tell people. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Three of Swords. I do think it's a great time for healing, like I said. So Three of Swords is about forgiveness. Those swords are in your own heart, and you have to remove those swords from your heart to heal. And that's what the Three of Swords is all about. It's all about, kind of like healing from the past, or forgiving the past so that you can heal. And that's what I would do there. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this breathe card and this thinker card. Thinking is something that Gemini is very good at. So it's coming up in the good stuff. Obviously, it would be a good time for you to like think, brainstorm. Good week for brainstorming as well. I would just write down your ideas so that you don't forget them. You have the Empress, the Justice card, and the Star. The Empress can be abundance. So if you are trying to do things to create more abundance or success, I do feel there could be more abundance and success coming in for you. I feel like you need to create a glow up is what this is saying. Like I said, I'm not saying you're going to have a glow up like right now, but anything, clearly the reading is asking you to be loud, assertive, bold, put yourself out there more. It's like all those, actions could lead to you glowing or getting proper attention. And I feel the reading is encouraging you to do that. The Empress is also about doing things easily. She doesn't work hard. She works efficiently. I said literally in the beginning of the year in the 2025 readings that we are in a time where we definitely want to be as efficient as possible. And yeah, that's what I would do. You have the Justice card. Justice says pay attention to cause and effect. What are you working on? Is it actually working or not? And if it is working, great. Keep doing it. If it's not working, then you need to do something else, right? So we just have to pay attention to cause and effect with this card. I do feel like some of you could literally be getting justice if you're involved in like a legal matter or something like that. I do feel that some of you are kind of closing a situation out if you are involved in something like that. And so definitely something I would pay attention to. One other thing that I'll add here is like no speeding at this time. I don't know. There's something weird going on. Like I said this to someone a couple weeks ago. It's like I've just noticed a lot of the readings have like justice with the Chariot, for example, or, justice with the King of Swords, for example, or the King of Swords in the Chariot, right? You only have the Justice card here, but I don't know. It just seems weird. And I would pay attention. Like no speeding, no, running red lights, things like that. You have the Star in the good stuff, which is great. The Star is also about healing. Like I said, we are in the most amazing time for healing. So I would like pick one healing activity to do this week, and I would do it because you'll get the benefits. Again, the Star is also about standing out, which you could be doing. Here you go. With the Empress, you have the Emperor. Aquarius had exactly the same setup, which is crazy. They had it in exactly the same position as well. So it could be an Aquarius that you're attracting. It doesn't have to be. It could be any sign. But, definitely could be a divine counterpart if you want love. If you don't want love, this is just a good combination for balancing like your masculine and feminine energies out and being able to do both. Like being able to be creative but also taking action. So a lot of you could just be, plain and simple, balancing your energy. With the Justice card, you have the Two of Pentacles. I feel like something that has been confusing about a choice is getting easier, is what this is saying. Two of Pentacles can be a lot of information. It's a card of spinning plates. It's a card of trying to do too much at once. But you could be getting much more clear on what's working, what's not working. And obviously that would be a good thing because now you can do what works. But I do feel a sense of clarity here. You do have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is great for clarity. Even the Star is a great card for gaining clarity on something. So, I feel there could be a lot of clarity here. With the Star, here you go. You have the Ace of Pentacles. This is definitely like a big yes from the universe, or this is like an opportunity that you've been asking the universe for. So I feel a lot of you could be getting some sort of opportunity, which is good. You have this finger card. It says, warning you of a problem either now or in the future. Yes, we should not ignore problems. I literally just said this to Aquarius, that, if you have like a car light on, like get it taken care of now. We're going to have a Mercury retrograde in November. We can work with the astrology and we can take care of things right now. So if something is a problem now, take care of it now so it doesn't become a bigger problem in the future. You have this broken wishbone card. It says, wish will not be granted. I don't know. It looks like a wish is being granted here. I'm wondering if this is something from the past with the Ten of Swords. You could be seeing that something from the past isn't working any longer and you're heading towards something new. You have this flag. It says, do not be tempted to lower your standards. Yes, we need to make sure, I think this is true for a lot of people. We need to make sure that we are, we are raising the standard, really. The universe wants growth right now, and so we have to grow. You have this well, it says family wishes come true. If you want to have a family, you definitely could be attracting a person that you will be having a family with that Emperor and the Empress. I also feel that it's just a good time for getting support from the people who matter to us. And this comes up for a lot of people. So, I don't know. That's pretty much it. You have this wall, it says misunderstandings on it. Yes, no one's going to understand you, Gemini. I think that is also going to be part of your secret sauce for until 2033, is that people are not going to understand your ideas. Remember what I said, you need to protect your ideas with that 9 of Wands. If you tell your mom about your ideas for, starting a business or starting a YouTube channel or whatever it is you're going to do, they're probably going to be like, what are you talking about, right? So your job is to just prove it, really, is to just build it, your ideas, and then people will understand after you've done it. So I kind of feel it would be a good time for you to not be understood, because you're not, right? Your ideas aren't going to make sense, and that's perfectly fine. But just don't, if you tell people your ideas, they might hate on them, and then you might not do them, so don't, right? But this looks pretty good here, Gemini, so thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.